What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jamel Mellamore. We are chilling in the living room on a couch, live in the living room with a special guest, my sister, Miss Queen Sheba. Now, we can't introduce Queen Sheba the way we used to introduce Queen Sheba. At this point, we have to always and forever at least say Grammy-nominated Queen Sheba. Make some noise. Everybody making noise. Okay, this is up.
That's so awesome, and I'm humbled and grateful.
You sound humble and grateful.
I'm practicing that.
Right,
I'm
right.
practicing. I'm humbled and grateful. Thank you.
Sheba,
I'm hardworking and deserving. Yeah.
That is true. That's true. You have been, seriously, you've been doing this for how many years now? How long have you been a
22.
Full-time poet? 22 years.
22 years.
22 years. So you think about
it's flown by.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel like it's flown by?
Yeah.
What was the at what point did you decide or you felt confident that you did the right thing by quitting corporate America and becoming
I got fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wasn't that poetic?
Yeah. No. I know. They're like, I quit my $100,000 paying job. First of all, I wasn't even getting paid that much. I think I was like at $45,000 when I got fired. So it was okay. When did I know I did the right thing? I'm still trying to figure that out. If I did the right thing. With Google coming to Atlanta, with Microsoft building their campus on the 17th Street Bridge, in my writer MFA mind, I'm like, I wonder if they need a project writer. I wonder if they need I don't know, I was going to say this earlier during the feature, but earlier this year, I was stuck. I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. We talked about this a little bit in the car yesterday on the way home from the event, you and I was saying poetry versus hip hop does well. It does great. It's people love it. People come out to the show. The artists love it. I have goals for that. But as far as me as a spoken word artist, I wouldn't say run out of ideas. I just needed a team to level me up.
Yeah.
I needed someone to come along. I believe in me. I've put in the work. I needed somebody else to come along that believed in me. And so now Poetry versus Hip Hop is only going to be on tour or in production in the summer and in the winter.
Okay.
It's not going to be during February, March, April when I'm already busy. So Poetry versus Hip Hop will be produced Valentine's Day like it always is. And then May, June, July. And then November, December, January, February.
So it's seven shows?
About 8.
8 shows?
About 8 shows. So
and what about like different, like one time we did a thing for the city.
Yeah. Yeah. So those pickups, sure. But me curating them along with my other schedule was too much. And then we were just talking about how to navigate as a full-time artist. And I realized that my winters are slow. So why don't I put Poetry versus Hip Hop in the winter? Right. Obviously I get out of Clark early December. It's time enough to do like a holiday Poetry versus Hip Hop.
So you are a college professor. Somebody said you were a college professor at 2 colleges.
So I had taught at Clark Atlanta for 5 years in person, in class, like a professor in class. I taught fiction, short stories, poetry 101, poetry workshop, and English composition. Now I live between here in Atlanta. I have my house in the West End, and then I am newly partnered, not married yet, but we might be on our way, and newly partnered, and we live in Raleigh. So my new home base is in Raleigh, but if I didn't tell you that, as much as people see me now, right. I mean, I'm still around, so you would see me.
So recently there has been this, thing that happened. I don't know if you're familiar, but
no, tell me about it.
Yeah, so there was a Grammy nomination.
Oh, really? That happened this year too?
Yeah, yeah. So like last year was the first year for poetry to have its own category.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
right, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Were you a part of that?
No, I wasn't actually.
okay.
I wasn't a part. I wish I was. I
Oh,
wish I
nice.
was. And
I'm sure
I,
you
ho-
will
I
be.
hope to learn how to be a part of that.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. And so they had a nomination this year.
Wow.
So it's the second one.
Second
Yeah,
time.
second time.
Oh, they did it again.
Did it again. Yeah.
Oh, they must have really liked it.
They liked it, like obviously, right?
Yeah.
And there was this woman, a black woman, that was nominated for a Grammy, and I happen to know her.
Wow. What's her
Yeah.
name?
Her name is Queen Sheba. You were nominated, and I have to say this every time I get an opportunity. I am so honored and appreciative of knowing you and being able to work with you, to work for you, to learn from you, and I owe the beginning, like my foundation of poetry and shows. Like the first show I ever done was with you. Like I done it for it was in our group at on the West End, and the things that I learned about shows, about the vendors, about just the things that you talked about last night, the things that you learned for Talam, those type things. I was like, okay, let me put, if I get this sells this many tickets, I can pay the band, or I can do that. Those things, these are things that I learned from you, and have no hesitation at giving that information out. That's important. So it's one thing to know that stuff and be able to show that stuff, but it's also important that you take the time to say, hey, this is how you do this. And how
because
I
they didn't do that. There's no they, first of all. The generation that came before us, Mom, Saul Williams, Jessica Caremore, so many others. Let's see, Raz Baraka, Amira Baraka, Last Poets, so many more. There's not really a blueprint. You really can do anything with writing. And if you are a spoken word artist, how I teach my workshops is it's set up like a thesis paper. You present a problem, whatever the problem is. A breakup, you got to move, you got a new pet, whatever the problem is. And then you offer solutions. But the solutions can be fantasy. They can be fantasy, they can be real, they can be made up. And then you say, hey, this is how I learned from this situation. And then you have that emotion tied into with some suggestions. And that's what keeps people engaged. They're like, oh, shit, we're learning a little bit about your business. Here's the tea. Here's some suggestions because I went through this too. So let me listen in on the suggestions. And then here's how I rose above it. And so that's where you give people hope. And they leave and they're like, oh, shit, I got hope.
Right,
you know?
right.
So
it's relatable.
It's relatable. And is that nothing in this world matters.
It's deep shit. That's deep shit.
Nothing in this world matters. We have these experiences. People say we're human, having a spiritual experience. Cool, if that's what you believe. Whatever. We're having these experiences, and then we die.
That's it.
The tree is going to be left standing there. Those plants are going to be left there. Somebody's going to have to figure out how to pay your bills and close down your house.
That ass. I say the same thing. You don't. We've never had this conversation before, but go ahead.
Nothing in this world, nothing. There's no reason to hoard, hide, keep, be mean to, be an asshole. There's no reason to do any of those things. And I know people do not evolve at the same pace that you may or I may or Obi may. I understand that. And it doesn't mean that the world has evolved once you evolve. Because you're like, oh, I've spiritually evolved. You step out in the world and somebody's like, fuck you, asshole. And you're like, oh, Lord. Same people. So I get it. And I've just come to a place of peace and understanding. And it has been so freeing when I realized nothing in this world matters. Nothing.
No. I get that. I mean, I've had conversations with Obi and about what not today. All you have is right now. This moment.
Right now.
And that's only for the moment, you know.
Watch this. That is now the past.
Right. That is.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, no. I'm just on this, like, I've just got to the place where I'm on the same type track, that mindset like the things that we worry about are not even real.
They're not
Fear's
real.
not real.
Fear is not
like
real.
the past is no longer exist. You know,
You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No. So I totally 100%. I'm with you on that. I'm looking at your earrings and they go along with what you're saying. They say no fucks.
No fucks.
She don't get no fucks.
No, and it's not even a harsh no fucks. It's like on a rainbow, right? So it's like no fucks on a rainbow.
Fucks.
It's just like no fucks. It's right. It's really kind of like no fucks, man. No, hey,
no fucks.
Do what you're gonna do. And then, and people, of course, I don't know why. And this is horrible when people do this to you or to me. They come up to you and be like, man, I remember when you ain't had $5, or man, I remember when you was an asshole. Guess what? Right now.
Right now. What?
Right
Who
now.
Is that? Who is that?
Why are you holding on to that long enough to, I haven't seen you in 27 years and you come up. Another thing I hate is when poets specifically, I heard that you used to, you did.
What you about to say? Used to suck? What?
No, you said, no, I'm just saying, no, I was just saying like, I heard that you used to, whatever, I don't know. I was just whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I heard you used to go around hitting people in the head.
It was used to part.
Used to part.
That's
and I'm just like, right now.
Yeah, no.
But I get it. I get that people hold on to that because they don't know how to box you or treat you. Or there was a woman that was sitting here today, and I have known her my entire poetry career. I think. With the light eyes. Yes, I think she was in Norfolk. I think we talked about that.
Really? I don't know. I've seen her at some of our shows and some of my shows as well.
She usually comes and supports anything that I do that's standoutish. So like this, you know what I mean? Like, she probably wouldn't come to a weekly, but she used to come to Old Apache because that was monthly, right? But
no, I've seen her at some of the Poetry After Dark stuff and Poetry versus Hip Hop stuff.
And it's things like that. It's like you affect people that long.
Yeah.
I do not. Let me look in the camera. Both cameras.
Okay, which one is one first?
I do not acknowledge any haters in my spiritual or energy realm. I do not know who you are, what you are, or how you feel. I gravitate to the people I love and the people that love me. You are angry on your own. And
that's an amen. And we can close the book on that, y'all. We're gonna close the book on that? All right. Yeah. So listen, what's the name of the album?
The name of the album goes along with this metaphysical spirituality conversation is A, you're not wrong. B, they're not either.
So when I heard the name of the album, I was like, that's a long ass title.
That's what everybody says, but I don't think it's resonating with them.
No. And then I started to listen to it, like to read it. So can you tell us what that means and what that means to you specifically? So
I had a breakup with the poetry community about 3.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they know I broke up with them. But no, I'm sure they do. But it wasn't an announcement. It wasn't anything like that. It was a moment when I evolved spiritually and I said, fuck this. Mm-hmm. Which is how the fuck it pill came out. It was like, man, I'm going to do what I want, when I want. I'm tired of walking on eggshells. No. I'm tired of asking for permission. I'm tired of including people that don't include me. Yeah. I was exhausted. I was like, man, if I come up for air and there's two people around, it's two people around. Mm. So the A, you're not wrong is I'm not wrong for how I feel, but they're not wrong for how they feel either. Mm-hmm. So if I am asking people to not judge me, if we're teaching people, hey, don't judge, then I have to also not judge. Right. Their feelings are valid. Right. Whatever they felt about our interactions or our relationship or whatever, their feelings are valid. Whatever their experience with me is valid. Good, bad, angry, happy, sad, it's all valid. So I just decided to start to sit with the quirky, nerdy kids in the lunchroom and not worry about who I thought were the cool kids. Come to find out, I'm the cool kid. Come to find out, the people that I hang out around with are the cool kids. Right. Everybody's the cool kids with their cool kid friends. Yeah, for sure. Nobody's not the cool kid. And I think that was our problem, is that we were saying, we're the cool kids and you're not the cool kids. And I hate that people think that Atlanta's poetry scene is cliquey. You know, I hate that. It's true. It is. It's true. I tend to float around because I try not to be.
Right. No.
But, you know, I have the people that I hang around the most, that I've had organic, you know, relationships with. I hate that. You know, the city is so big, and we have more poets and spoken word artists than any other city, including New York.
No, I can no, that's
or LA.
True. And there's poets that I've seen, and like I can go every time I go to a place, I see poets that I've never ever seen before, like in dope poets, like not just people that I see reading. Nothing wrong with reading. Nothing wrong with reading. I'm talking about people that are just like fresh. Like I don't know what I'm doing. That's not the case. Yeah. I'm talking about people that get
look
up
polished
with and I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. I've never seen you before. Like it's that much going on here in Atlanta. I love that.
You know, I did this podcast yesterday. She Fly, I think it's called, and she was saying that she goes out. There's an open mic that she goes out to once a week in Lithonia, and I was like, where? She's like, yeah, me and my homegirls go
once a week.
Once
in Lithonia.
In Lithonia. Isn't this Lithonia?
No, this ain't Lithonia. This is Lithia Springs.
But aren't we by Lithonia? No, we're
not.
It's
on the other side of 20.
Oh, my bad.
My bad.
Oh yeah, Conyers.
Yeah.
That way. Yeah. So yeah, she said once a week in Lithonia there's an open mic, but who knows what that means?
Right.
But still, the fact that there is
it might be Kevin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Artistry Live Decatur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it might be that. It might be what it is. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
So I say that because what you're doing, you being nominated for a Grammy and you being in this position, you're opening the door. You said it last night. You're opening the door for poets that we didn't have here in the air, in especially in Atlanta, because you are one of the premier, like when you think of poetry,
Queen of the South.
Queen of the South. You hear?
Queen of the South.
Queen of the South. You see it?
You see it? Hey. You know what I'm saying? Queen of the South.
Listen, she is. I don't know anybody working like her. And again, I say you deserve the nomination. And with that, can you talk about a little bit about the process? First, how many times have you submitted for any type of Grammy? Yeah.
Four times. This is my fourth time submitting. So
I didn't even know that. So this is the thing, right? Who knew this woman was submitting for Grammys? You know what I'm saying? While we was trying to get our open mic shit together. You know what I'm saying? She's submitting for Grammys. You know what I'm saying? So 4 times, okay.
I want to say I didn't bring him up last night because probably me, Talam. Well, no, I think I kind of did. I brought up Ainsley Burroughs. Ainsley Burroughs is responsible, positive responsibility. One, I love him, love his poetry, love his work. And he is the CEO and founder of the Sweet Spot Nation. They go all over the country doing their burlesque and poetry show.
Okay.
And they come to Atlanta like 4 times a year. So Ainsley Burroughs is in my generation with me, Talam, Georgia. Teresa's not part of our generation.
Really?
She's like right. She's like, no, not. Let me be clear because it's gonna be on camera. I'm saying generation, not skill level. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that she's like, if there was a younger, because she is younger than she's 38.
So like dichotomy. And
she's right. She's dichotomy.
That class.
The class.
That class.
The class.
Yeah.
She's with dichotomy and some other people. Yeah, exactly. But no, Teresa, let me be clear, is amazing. I fucking love her. One of my favorite poets. Amazing. I want to be very clear about that. But so Ainsley is part of our class, right? And I remember I started out with, when I had my very first CD, it was called I Confess. It's not released anywhere because it was just a CD. I didn't even know I could get a barcode yet, right? So at first I did a real CD cover. It was black and white. I wanted it to be black and white. It wasn't because of whatever. That was my vision. I wanted it to be black and white. It was called I Confess, and it had a little fold out in a CD. It was a sticker print on the CD. And I sold it like that for a long time, but I started to go to New York and needed more money faster. So I started doing the slim cases, no cover, and just a little sticker. And so I met Ainsley in New York. He's from New York, and totally loved him. He has great energy, Jamaican, total thought genius, thought leader. Anyway, so I was like, yo, I really like your work. Would you mind listening to my album, right? And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So who knows? The next time I saw him we were traveling a lot then, so I probably was in New York maybe a week or two later. He said, I listened to your album. And ironically, it was produced by a Grammy-nominated producer, but he was just like, hey, let's do a poetry album. But anyway, so he was like, it's a really good album, but this presentation sucks. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it like this. He was like, basically, he was like, Nas, Jill Scott, whoever was out at the time. We're talking about 2002, 3, 4, 5, right? He was like, those are our peers. We may not see them. Mm-hmm. We may not travel with them, but we're in the same class. We're just in a different genre. Mm-hmm. We're in the same year. We're in the same. So he was like, if you're and at the time, Tower Records was still around.
Okay.
In New York. And so you could, as a spoken word artist, if you had a barcode, could put your album in Tower Records. And he was like, why would Tower Records put your album in here if you're just giving them a slim case with just a sticker on there? And I never did it again. After that, even that album, I went back and, the black and white was on purpose, but I went back and printed the CD correctly. And then that's when I started selling my CDs for $15 after Talam did. And it was just like, boom, like, hey, if we want to be taken seriously as a music artist, then we need to act accordingly from the gate.
Right.
And just all sorts of things I've learned from other music artists. I learned how to write my bio from a band out of Richmond, Virginia. I forgot the name of the band, but they gave me their bio in a folder. And so I took a picture, printed it out at Kinko's in color, wrote a bio, put it in like 100 folders, and mailed them to all HBCUs, hoping to get college gigs. Wow. And I started to get college gigs. It was shit that we just made up. Nobody said to do that.
So in what year was it? What?
So I got fired from Bank of America in 2001, July 10th, 2001. Then the Twin Towers fell. Then 9/11 happened. And so then 2002, that February, I was on the Apollo. And then that April, I was on 106 in Park. Pew, gone.
Wow.
106 Park with AJ and Free.
That's what's up. Okay, so we were talking about 5. Oh, you turn it off?
1, 2. Yeah.
1, 2, okay.
You would ask me about how many times I submitted. Yeah.
All right. So, and then, okay, let me go. Where am I going to go? Let's say.
I said 2010. Somebody probably told me to do it. I did it. Threw spaghetti on the wall.
Throwing spaghetti on the wall. You was just trying.
Just trying to do
whatever you can do.
Yep.
So but I feel like, so what did it make you feel like how did you feel when J. Ivy, actually, not even when J. Ivy won it, but when it became a thing? Like, did you feel
I was
like
part
this
of
is
the
my
call.
Chance? Yes.
I was part of the Zoom call.
Yeah.
So, which I felt honored. I was like, oh, I'm part of the Zoom call? Like, thanks. And not only was I part of the Zoom call, you know how you just kind of sit on the Zoom call and you kind of let who you think the leaders are talk?
Right.
They kept bringing me up. They was like, yeah, and Sheba uses music, and Sheba, like Jessica Cameron brought me up for sure, and somebody else brought me up, and another person brought me up. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, Sheba puts out like 6 albums or blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? What's interesting is, and I'm going to stay on topic, from the time I threw Spaghetti on the Wall in 2010, I didn't make another album till 2022.
Wow.
12 years. I looked up, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I don't have an album. I'm not doing my music artist stuff, So I had a book 2012, but still, that's still 10 years.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, time to come out with some fresh stuff. And I came out with the Fuck It Pill.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's right. Right order. I came out with the Fuck It Pill, loved it. But you have to submit a new album each year.
Can't be the same album.
It can't. 2 things. The way I understand the rules, because I want to say it like that. The way I understand the rules is, once your album is nominated, you for sure can't submit none of that shit ever again. None of it. Like, just, it's gone. You know what I mean? But hopefully for the world to see, right?
Right.
Go, do your videos. You can do all that. You can't submit it again. So you have to. So I now definitely have to make a whole new album. I can't even bring tracks from there. I can't nothing. Right.
Right.
But if your album is not nominated and you just submitted it, you can remix it as long as you re-release it and it's a new album.
Gotcha.
So I took some tracks off, put some new ones on. The one with Prod, a couple other ones. Now Sekou is the narrator. And now it's a whole new album, whole new name, whole new barcode, whole new release date.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So what are the steps? Like, give us the steps for poets, because like we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of us out here, and I for one was interested in submitting for a Grammy myself.
How long can you say that you have been a spoken word artist?
I could say about 6 years. I started down in Pensacola, Florida, like doing open mics before I moved here.
Okay, that's perfect. So step one, you have to be in your genre for 5 years.
Okay.
That is step one. And I would say notably, now I'm kind of putting that twist on it, but the reason is because of step two. So you have to submit a resume. So when you ask for, so step one, you have to be in your genre 5 years. You have to be a poet for 5 years. I'm not saying you can't have another job. I'm not saying none of that.
No.
People had to have seen you. You need to be working.
Featured
you have to feature, doing stuff, whatever. You have to be spoken word artist for 5 years. Second thing is, you need 2 recommendations from a professional or voting member.
Okay.
You can find them, but it's best to get them at the same time. So it's March to March.
Okay.
Because they do the Grammys in February. They're like, all right, let's close down the Grammys. We close everything out. Everybody's good. Everybody's got their award. March is their new year, basically. So March to March, you need 2 recommendations. Now, the challenge with that is that as a voting member, we only get 2 recommendations. We can only recommend 2 people a year.
So it's limited to
it's
how
limited.
many people
We can't just recommend, because there's like, hey, we're the elite family. So if you are saying you're a voting member and you putting your stamp on Jamel, you're now saying you're responsible for him.
Right.
So you need 2 recommendations. Now, this is not a recommendation letter that you can write and give me and I can turn in. I have to go to my portal, sign in, and do my own recommendation. And they ask us some questions. So it's not even just like a blank form.
So if you want to do a recommendation for me, you have to answer questions?
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Correct. They're going to say, how long has Jamel been doing this? Where have you seen him perform? Then they're going to ask me for your bio. So that's what I was going to say. That's why I said the 5 years has to be of a bit of a note. Like,
right.
you have to have been seen somewhere, do some venues, because then I'm going to say, hey, I need your bio.
Right.
And so they're going to say, where have you seen him? How do you know him? What's he in? What's his name? Blah, blah, blah. Where's he from? And then they're going to say, where's his bio? And then I'm going to cut and paste your bio, put it in there. And then once you get your 2 recommendations, they're going to send you, they're going to review them. It's not automatic.
So even after you give recommendations, you're still not automatically...
Not automatic. It's not automatic. A person, not a computer, a person reviews them. And I've recently learned that there is a manager for each category. And I have spoken with the manager of the spoken word category, and she's out in LA. So I don't know if she reviews the recommendations. I'm just saying that...
There's a manager over each category.
There's a manager over each category. So... a person reviews the application, and if they feel like you're Grammy worthy, Recording Academy worthy, then they'll send you an email, say, hey, 2 people thought you were great. Fill this out. Fill out your new Recording Academy profile. Okay. So you have your own portal, you start to get the emails. Now you're part of the Atlanta chapter. You get to go to the networking events and all of the other stuff that none of the rest of the world knows about.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So step 3. So 1 is you have to be in the game 5 years. 2, you need 2 recommendations from a voting or a professional member.
Okay.
2.5, you need to give them your bio. Okay. So let's say step 3, you need to write a bio, have a bio, make sure it's of note. Step 4, you need your own website. Not social media.
What does the website have to be for? Is it a certain, just for your poetry or your merch or?
No. So they say your own website. They didn't really give us a parameter. I'm saying, obviously, it should have It should be. I've been telling poets it should be a functioning website. It shouldn't just be a digital EPK. It shouldn't just be a PDF.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
It should be where I can go buy merch, where I can book you, maybe have your Instagram feed on it. Like, make it a functioning website. Like, can we interact with you? Is this what you use to represent you in your 5 years in your genre, saying that you're an expert?
Gotcha. Okay.
Does this reflect you being an expert in your genre?
That's how many? That's not a lot of poets that have websites.
Therein lies the problem.
There's not a lot of poets that have websites. I
was talking to a poet that we all know, but I'll leave his name out of it. And because we had a little spicy conversation via text message. And we were talking, and I said, hey, our category dropped this year. We dropped 30 people. Lay down.
Like, fuck you.
Man, if we weren't on camera, she would be at Peter right now. So she probably must go outside. Did she go to the door open? Can you let her outside, please?
Yeah. She
ain't gonna go nowhere.
Tell them to make sure she doesn't run out the out the gate.
Are they outside?
Yeah, some people out there.
Oh, that's why she wouldn't go out there. Yeah. So me and this other poet were having a conversation via text message, and he was like, I know 100 poets right now. I said, do you know 100 poets that you could say could put together a well-produced album? That I said, do you know 100 working poets? That's what I said. Do you know 100 working poets that can put together a well-produced album, 30 minutes? 30 minutes, that's all you need, recorded or live, and then with their own website. And they were like, no.
No, because I don't really know any, because we all use social media now. That's taking the place of websites. And
it is, but I think what they're saying is you can integrate those socials to your website, but what happens if they go down? Who are you? That's what they're saying.
No, I get it. I think that websites, because even it doesn't, there's,
and you can make a website in like 5 minutes with Wix or
so
Squarespace.
But there's so every professional business has a website.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And an app.
And an app.
And an app.
Yeah, everyone. So it's like I can see where the need, or where it means that I'm serious about what I'm doing. Or
download the Queen Sheba app, and then you get updated to I don't have one, but we need one. But I'm saying, if you download the Queen Sheba app, download the Jamel app, download the Mellow app, download the Elevation, the movement, whatever, Poetry versus Hip Hop app. Now you know where we're at. You get the updates where our shows are coming, blah, blah, blah. Somebody make me an app.
Yeah, I need an app.
I need an app, y'all. I need an app.
Okay, so step 4 was...
But Hack, Reverb Nation, which I know is an old thing that we use, will make an app for you out of your profile. But they get the credit for the app. Does that make sense?
They make an app out of your profile, but it's their app.
It's their app.
It's for you, but it's their app.
Correct.
Yeah, I get it.
So, I mean, you could...
Yeah. You'll have an app.
You'll have an app, and you won't have to do anything.
Right.
And you literally push a button, and you have an app.
Yeah, okay. No, I like that, actually.
Yeah,
like
right.
Push a button.
Let me go back to Reverb.
Right. So step 4 is having a website. Step 5?
So you make your album. Make your album professionally produced. Poets have to be 30 minutes. It could be live or recorded or both. Doesn't matter. You can have singers on it. You can have rappers on it. You can have trombones, a bass. You can have a whole choir. You can have an orchestra. You can have a symphony. Has to be 51 minutes of poetry. 51% poetry. Has to be 51% poetry. But again, when you submit your album, there is an actual person who listens to all of the submissions all the way through to decide if you stay in that category. I was a little worried. I was
so they may have put you in a whole different category.
They may say, you know what?
This is
you got a lot of rock. This is hip hop.
Right.
You got a lot of rock on here. We're gonna change your category and not even tell you, and we're gonna send you an email saying, hey, you were in spoken word, but we moved you over to rock and hip hop.
And then if you move to rock and hip hop, it's like that's not even what you're doing. So it's not.
Yeah.
You probably won't get selected because it's not even the same right genre.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Because your supporters are still your supporters, and you're like, shit, well, I'm in the rock and hip hop category.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the people that's reviewing to say, oh, this is.
No. Everybody gets listed. Everybody gets listed. They don't they don't decide if they're gonna kick your submission. They're just deciding where it's going. Where it's going.
Okay.
No, yeah, everybody gets listed. There could be 1,000 people in the spoken word category. Top 5 get nominated.
Cool. All right, so you got your album. Wait, first was be
5 years in the game.
Second was have 2
recommendations. Third, get a bio. Give your bio to the recommended people.
That's 2.5.
That's 2.5.
Yeah, 3.
3 was after the bio. Oh, website?
No, 4 was website. Well, 3 was the bio.
3 was the bio.
3 was the bio. 4 was the
website. 5 is make the album.
Albums.
And this is not in order. We're just saying these are the things you have to have. So then 5, you make the album, 30 minutes, produced or recorded or both.
51%.
51% poetry. And then you have to submit it by August 31st every year.
Okay. So
then you start your so there's like a 2-week lag because they go through it, put you in the categories, make sure that you're in the right category. And then the first round of voting starts about September 15th to whenever. Sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's 2 weeks. I wasn't really sure. So this one was a little later this year. They started October-ish and then didn't do the nominations until November 10th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then your campaign.
You're campaigning for about 3 weeks.
So who are you campaigning to? The members or?
Yeah. I mean, granted, you see a lot of us on social media, but the hope is when you're hashtagging and putting it out there. So the hope is that if you're a Grammy member and I'm a Grammy member and you're on my album, then you're going to vote, and then some people that can vote that, really do listen to our music and hopefully consider listening to our albums and then casting a vote in the spoken word category because we only have a limited number of votes.
Okay.
We only can vote in 5 categories and cast 10 votes in each category or something like it's something to that effect. We can only vote in 5 categories or whatever it is limited.
Okay.
It's something to that. It's 5 and 10. I'm mixing up the 5 and the 10. It might be 5 categories and 10 votes or 10 categories and 5 votes. It's something like that. But there's a 10 and a 5, so it's limited. So you can't just go and vote for everybody and their mama.
Right. Okay.
They look, this is supposed to be elite. You're supposed to be picking the elite.
Right. Gotcha.
And you're only and they even send out an email, vote in the categories that's your life. So if you listen to jazz, and you listen to blues, and you listen to poetry and hip hop, then vote in those categories. Don't vote in country.
Right. Don't even bother.
You don't.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
So and also, it's okay to generally say, "Hey, other people I don't know, come check out my album." That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be saying. It's because it's about the album and not about the artist. That's the biggest thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
You can, and one of the rules says you cannot do a personal plea. So I'm still on topic. This is one of the rules says you cannot say, I'm just making this up. This is not true because this is going to be posted during campaign time. This is not true. I'm making this up. You can't be like, my favorite color is blue, and everybody that likes blue, come vote for me. You can't. It cannot be about you. It has to be about the album. You can say, hey, everybody, come check out my album if I know you or not. And if you happen to be a voting or professional member, please consider casting your vote in the spoken word category. You are not allowed to tell people who to vote for. You can't even say yourself.
So that's why you see in everybody's thing for your consideration.
For your consideration.
Yeah, okay.
For your consideration.
Okay, cool. I was always wondering what that was.
Yeah, for your consideration.
So
because what we're saying is you don't have to.
Right.
That's what it's saying. You don't have to.
Right.
We want you to. You don't have to. We're not making it.
We're just putting it out there.
Right.
Just
because the Recording Academy, the Grammys, they're very, very hard on soliciting for votes.
Okay.
You cannot be like, hey, I can pay you for a vote. I'm going to trade you for a vote.
Yeah, gotcha.
Even if I had an event, if this event was a for your consideration event, it needs to be named for your consideration event for Queen Sheba at the movement. Everybody that comes to the door has to pay. Or not, or it could be free or paid or whatever. But let's say we both know Malcolm Jamal Warner, right? Now, if we would have already given him a ticket because he's our friend, we could do that. But we can't say, I'm going to give you a ticket and it's a for your consideration party and hopefully you'll vote for me. That's illegal. You'll get booted out immediately.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like politics. Well,
exactly like politics.
with less corruption. It's the uncorrupt politics.
Yeah. And then for the people who are like, oh, the Grammys are rigged, let's pretend they're not, because they actually have a third party that does the voting count for them. They don't even know who the winners are until the envelope is revealed on stage at the Grammys. And so this third party counts the votes, puts them in the envelope, and gives them to the announcers when they don't even know. Nobody from the Grammys knows. It's not revealed until that day. Also, this is very interesting. There's no ranking, and I kind of love that. So the winner is the winner. That's it. You either won or you didn't.
Yeah.
There's no second, third, fourth point.
And
let's pretend, heaven forbid this ever happens to anybody. Let's pretend Big Bird wins. I don't want to put any energy on anybody. Big Bird wins, right? But then we found out Big Bird paid for his votes somehow, right? Or something happened. Big Bird's corrupt. Big Bird gets his award taken publicly, denounced on the website. Like, it's like, Big Bird has been ripped from his Grammy award, right? I don't know if they get ripped from the nomination. That's interesting, but whatever. So they get ripped from the award. There is no subsequent person. They're just there's no second.
No winner. Yeah.
There's no winner for that entire year.
There's no second.
And you still can't submit your album again because
you were nominated.
Because you've been nominated. You were getting this.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm on it. I'm
That's
on this.
perfect.
I'm on this. You look out for an album. My submissions coming out there for your consideration.
And you're a triple treat. So I mean, you could sing, rap, and dance. Sing, rap, and do poetry. I think it's gonna be a great album.
No, I want to do it. So and listening to your stuff and it's just really inspiring. So I'm definitely gonna put something together.
My biggest advice to you is, I would love to, and my biggest advice is be yourself, be your full personality. Do not dumb down it at all. Be your entire full. If you want to have a whole choir in the background, have a whole choir in the background.
Okay.
Just make sure they're not singing more than your poem.
So if you had advice for poets right now, we're gonna end it with this, right? If you had any advice for poets right now that are looking to any, and then when I say advice, I mean not necessarily even business advice, but just like professional, like creative advice for a person that's considering submitting for a Grammy or thinking that or feeling like I want to do that. What would you say to somebody?
You have to figure out your why. Why do you want to be Grammy nominated? Why do you want to be part of the most elite family in music? Why? Is it just so you can make more money? Do you want to be famous? Like, what's your reason? Like, what is it that you want to put on your back? That, and then how are you? This is the classy event, right? So how we're basically picking a president for a year, right? So how are you going to represent the entire spoken word community in the world if you win? If you win, you are representing the entire spoken word community for the world, Craig.
Yikes.
So
that's heavy.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Jay Ivy was the perfect first winner. He's classy. He's a good dude. He gives advice. He helps poets. His production is amazing. He takes it seriously. He's traveling all over the world right now. He has a bourbon commercial you may have seen.
Yeah. Which bourbon is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. I've seen it, though.
It's a bourbon commercial. So, he didn't do a Black and Mild commercial. He didn't do a weed commercial.
Right,
He didn't,
right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
He wasn't like
Coke 40.
Right. He was like, nah. So he's taking spoken word in the right direction. When I win, I'm not gonna have on a leotard with my ass out. I'm already 60s posh anyway. So it's like, if you win, can you be the representatives for spoken word around the world? And so the advice, or I guess think about that. That's, that's a big deal. It's not just, oh, let me submit my album, and because what happens if you make it?
Yeah, because there's a next. There's a next.
There's a next.
So
and have you built your community? The number one thing, if it was kind of artsy business advice, is have you built your community for support? And have you gotten involved with your city chapter, your Grammy chapter, to be support? Because even if you submit your album, you have to, it is politics. You do have to get to know this whole new community because they don't know you to vote for you. So.
Well, Sheba, thank you so much for sitting down here with me.
I think this was more focused.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Obi back there, I was like, yes, y'all did it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting down and talking with me on the couch here live in the living room at MellowVzn Studios. I appreciate you. Again, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you and what you've poured into me as an artist, as a business person. Appreciate you just doing this, just you being nominated. I feel like I was nominated. So I appreciate who you are and what you've done for us and for the community, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You got my support. You have the support of many. And let's just bring this thing home. Let's bring this thing back to Atlanta, and back to poetry versus hip hop, back to poetry after dark, back to So let's do it. And I appreciate you. And this is Queen Sheba, and I'm sorry, Grammy nominated Queen Sheba, and I'm Jamel Mellow Moore, and this is Live in the Living Room, and we are signing out. And Charlie, don't forget about Charlie. Charlie's like ear did like bleep, bleep, bleep. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.